What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my prize picks breakdown for UFC Austin. We have Arman Sarukian going against Beneil Dariush.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back after a week off here. We're going to be breaking down some prize picks for UFC Austin, a 13-fight card, a card that I think is a very entertaining card, and we'll talk about some spots sticking out from a prize picks perspective. And before I get into it, if you guys could please do me a couple favors. First, leave a like on the video. Second, subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And then thirdly, if you guys are new to PrizePicks and want to check it out, go to PrizePicks.com and then use that promo code DFSBTN and get yourself a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. It helps me, it helps you. It's free money, and I do highly recommend it, and use that promo code as well. But we have a couple things to talk about here. As always, we're going to start with the significant strikes. And I'll be honest, not a ton sticking out from a significant strike perspective, but one that really did catch my eye is going to be the Rob Font significant strikes. It's set at 65.5, and I'm going to take the more there. So Rob Font actually landed I think it was 11 significant strikes in his fight against Corey Sandhagen, but I think that was a one-off. I mean, Rob Font has some of the best volume in the division. Even after the Corey Sandhagen fight, which was a terrible fight, nothing happened. Rob Font still lands 5.71 significant strikes per minute. Very, very high volume. Rob Font's one of those guys that has a ton of volume. He's going to be at a power disadvantage here, but yeah, Rob Font can easily go out there across 3 rounds and rack up a ton of significant strikes here. So I'm taking the more here for Rob Font on the significant strikes, and that's really about all that I really like on the significant strikes. Not a ton else that I really love here. So going to move on to the takedowns. So for takedowns, we have 3 here, and the one I do like is going to be Sean Brady. So the takedowns is set at 1.5, and I'm going to go with the more here just because Sean Brady, for him to win this fight, he's going to need to get more, way more than 1.5. I mean, if Sean Brady goes out there and only lands a takedown, that probably means he lost the fight, he potentially got knocked out. But if Sean Brady is going to win this fight or make this a very competitive fight, he's going to have to wrestle very consistently across 3 rounds, and he's shown that he can absolutely do that. He's shown that he can go out there and get takedowns. I think the one fight, his last fight against Belal Muhammad was a one-off. Belal Muhammad is a very good fighter. I think people are really low on Sean Brady after his loss to Belal Muhammad. I don't think there's any shame in that loss, other than him getting knocked out wasn't the best look. But Belal Muhammad has some of the best takedown defense in the division. In Sean Brady's fight against Michael Chiesa, he went out there and got 5 takedowns, a couple takedowns against Christian Aguilera, 4 takedowns against Ismail Nardiev, and then 2 takedowns against Court McGee. So, yeah, Sean Brady is very, very capable of going out there, getting takedowns, and I think for him to win this fight, he's going to have to get 3, 4, 5 takedowns. So give me the more on Sean Brady here, and that is kind of the one thing I do like for takedowns on here. I'm not touching the Sarukian. I guess I'd slightly lean over, but not something I love, and then I can't trust Wellington Turman really with anything. So I'm just taking Sean Brady here for the takedowns. All right, we'll move on to the fantasy score, and there are some things sticking out for fantasy score. The first one is going to be Punahele Soriano. The fantasy score is set at 93.5, and I'm going to take the more here. I like the more here for Soriano fantasy score. This guy's a big favorite, maybe too big of a favorite, but if Soriano goes out here and wins the fight, you got to believe it's going to probably be early. And as you know, on PrizePicks, you do get 100 points for a first-round knockout, and that's kind of what I'm leading here. When Soriano's knocking guys out, it's in the first round. All but one of his wins that have come by knockout were in the first round. The one that did go into the second round was his last fight, I think, against Dolce Lengambula, where he did finish the fight in the first 30 seconds of the second round. So if Soriano's winning this fight, I think it is by knockout. I think it's early, and I think if he does win this fight, he smashes the score with probably a first-round knockout. So give me Soriano, more on the fantasy score, 93.5. The next one that I like is going to be Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to take the less here. 117.5 is a ton for Bellato, who I think wins this fight. I think he dominates this fight, but I can kind of see a scenario where Bellato gets a takedown, gets on top, land some ground and pound that don't count as significant strikes. As you guys know, there's no control time on PrizePicks. So yeah, if he gets a takedown and starts dominating, Pateria and subs him in the first round, That's not going to reach that 117. If this fight gets into the second round, which I kind of lean it does, I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to this 117. The only way he gets this 117.5 is if this fight does stay standing. He drops him a couple times, potentially knocks him out in the first round, but I'm kind of leaning he's going to go out there and grapple. I mean, that's his base. He's a BJJ black belt, and I think it'd be very wise to take down Pateri. I think he has a massive advantage on the ground. So 117.5 is just a little bit too much. I'm going to take the less here on Bellato fantasy score. And then I'm going to take another less here. Going to go with Veronica Hardy, 64.5 fantasy score, so I don't think she wins this fight, and it looks like a lot of people are in agreement with that. The line on Jamie Lynn Horth has been just crushed all week. I mean, Jamie Lynn Horth went from like a minus 110 pick'em to minus 190 like overnight. So yeah, Veronica Hardy's now a pretty big underdog. I didn't like her to begin with. I don't think she wins this fight, and even if she does win this fight, it's probably like a greasy fight. Control time against the cage, takedowns between either fighter. I just don't see a ton going on one way or another. So even if she does win, I'm not even convinced she hits this fantasy score towards the more. So since I am picking her to lose, I am going to comfortably take the less there at 64.5. All right, and then lastly, going to talk some fight time. A lot of things do stick out in the fight time section here. The first thing I'm going to touch on is going to be the Jakar Close. If it's still there, is it not there anymore? It's not there anymore. I mean, if it shows back up, I like the Jakar Close more on Fight Time. It was set at 10.5 minutes, and unless I'm blind, it's not there. So we can't talk about that one. But look out for it. Maybe they'll put it back on. And then gonna go with Rodolfo Bellato. This is a freaking sweat. Absolute sweat. Taking the more here on 5 minutes Fight Time. I mean, this could look really, really bad. Not something I feel amazing about, but I kind of see Bellato like grinding this out, wearing on Pateri a little bit. Pateri, he doesn't have the best gassing. I think Pateri has about 5 minutes of gas. So yeah, I mean, I think Bellato can take this guy down, wear on him a little bit, drag this fight into deep waters. I'm kind of leaning like a late second round finish is what I'm leaning. So if that's the case, this more is going to hit, but again, it's terrifying. These guys both hit hard, and I don't think Pateri is that great. But give me the more on Bellato fights. I'm kind of leaning late second round finish there. Next, we'll go to Joaquim Silva Fight Time, 12.5 minutes. I'm going to take the less here. I really think he finishes Clay Guida here. I mean, Clay Guida's been finished a ton throughout his career. He's now 42 years old. Clay Guida's been submitted 11 times. He's been knocked out 2 times as well. Silva has a ton of power on the feet. Silva's a black belt on BJJ. Silva doesn't have a submission yet in the UFC, but I think that really could change here. I think Silva's alive for either a club and sub or something off his back if Clay Guida takes him down. But yeah, I think this fight does end less than that 12.5 minutes. I think Silva gets a finish here. And then we'll go with the Jalen Turner Fight Time. We'll take the less here as well. Jalen Turner, 100% finish rate. He's a pretty big favorite. And all of his wins, as far as I'm concerned, have come within the first 2 rounds. So it's safe to say if Turner does win this fight, especially considering he's coming in here on short notice, he's cutting all the way down to 155 apparently. I think it's going to be early because if this fight does get extended, I kind of worry about him, to be honest. So I think Turner probably does get Bobby Green out of there within those first 10 minutes. If it does reach, past that, I have concerns about him even winning at that point. But yeah, I think Turner's really dangerous wherever the fight goes. He has knockout power. He has a submission game, and I think he finishes Bobby Green early on in this fight. So taking the less there on Jalen Turner Fight Time. And then I'll give one more that I was looking at, and that is going to be the where is it? There it is. The Mel Costa Fight Time at 7.5 minutes. I'm taking the less. This is one of those fights where I just feel like they're going to stand and bang until one man falls. Both guys really are a wild man, but especially, Steve Garcia. This guy's a wild, wild man. He's going to come in there with reckless abandon. He's going to throw down. He's going to stand and bang. Steve Garcia does not have the best chin, but he has a ton of power in his own right. I think these guys are going to swing and bang, and I think somebody's getting served early on and potentially even the first round. So that's kind of one other one I was looking at. I don't love it, but that is another one that I did have circled there. So yeah, not much else sticking out other than a lot of fight time plays, some fantasy score plays. Not a ton on the takedowns, not a ton on the significant strikes this week. But yeah, there you guys have it. Let me know in the comments what plays you like. Don't forget to use that code DFSBTN. Get yourself a 100% deposit bonus up to $100 on PrizePicks. Highly recommend. And yeah, guys, best of luck for UFC Austin. Should be a fun card, and really looking forward to it. See you guys later.